Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 167 of the Hall Games podcast, I believe. This week, I'm Matt every week, but this week I'm joined by Cameron.
Hello.
And Keo.
And Keo, who is Keo every week.
Yep, that's true. Yep. Cameron is not always Cameron every
I
week, but Keo and I...
He's just running like multiple identities or something. Am I missing out?
Well, it's funny because the only people that call me Jason, my actual name, is the people that I work with. So everyone at work knows me as Jason, and everyone else in my personal life calls me Keo, even my wife, and has since she met me. So...
It's funny because I was actually thinking about this the other night of like, I'm so comfortable calling Matt, but calling you Jason makes me feel uncomfortable for what reason.
It makes Dina feel, it makes Dina feel uncomfortable. Yeah. So I don't know, but it's really funny because when I talk to you guys, going between, you'll notice that even in the podcast, if you keep count tonight, Cameron, Matt, Shadow, Neo, I will chop and change. Sometimes it will be Matt, sometimes it'll be Neo or Shadow or Cameron, and it will never be like any conversation. It'll just be one or the other. I'll not be consistent with who I'm calling who, but everybody knows who they are.
Not being consistent is the hallmark of the show, so I think that works out just fine.
I left the background alone. It's been like 6 months. We can. I should do another one.
Yes, you should actually. As always,
Legacy submitted a question too.
He did, yes. So Legacy has asked a question. He's asked 100 men versus one gorilla, which is the meme going around at the moment. I have the correct answer, but I'd love to hear your guys' answers first.
I need to know what this is in reference to before.
So this is a meme at the moment, right? 100 men versus. It feels like the new Roman Empire of memes.
Sure. I mean, I was also a big. I was also a big fan of the a trillion lions versus the sun. That was a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, just the idea. I guess the idea, Keo, is that could in a fight, could 100 men take one gorilla? Who would win that fight?
Right. I'm on the gorilla.
You're on the gorilla.
Who's not for the gorilla? Sure.
I mean, I'd like the gorilla to win. I think the gorilla deserves to win.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put money on it.
Harambe, the gorilla deserves to win.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's.
My favorite memes so far have been like the last man and the gorilla fighting. The man finally overtakes him, and then he's like, "Finally, I can be with my brother Harambe."
Oh my god!
Now, I'd like to think that it gets to the last man, and then they both just wear out and end up curled up. Big spoon, little spoon.
Yeah, so basically the end of Naruto. Pretty close. That's pretty close to how, at least.
Oh, really?
Making a movie.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the end of the Planet of the Apes series, actually, is what you're describing.
We're going to get like 10 years down the line, and we're going to realize that they're making social media trends movies now.
I mean, Cocaine Bear exists, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So you might be 10 years too late on that. I don't know. I mean, I think the correct answer, I believe, I was reading some threads about this because people got very in depth about it. They were asking biologists, and they were like, "Yeah, maybe like 10 men could probably take on a gorilla." And this is assuming the gorilla was in the most aggressive mindset ever, because normally a gorilla would just see a threat and run away if it was that dangerous. But apparently gorillas have a lot of the same, because we're relatively closely related to them. They have a lot of the same weaknesses outside of something like someone was like putting up like a bear versus a gorilla. A bear will win a fight against pretty much any animal. The bear is the ultimate animal to fight, really. Like a bear will destroy like a lion or a tiger. Like it's just like, there's no question. Whereas like a gorilla, like I'd say maybe 20 guys, easy. 10 guys, 10 guys maybe.
Where this conversation even like spawned from? Like I don't know the origins.
I think some guy just posted it on Twitter as like a meme. He's like, I bet you if I had 100 guys, I could take on a gorilla. And he's like, not all, like the first like 10 guys aren't getting out of there, but we could beat him. Yeah. But yeah, Legacy, hopefully that answers your question. we're here for our video games and animal facts, I guess. We do actually have another question from our good friend Professor Pluto, Alex, who says, "Okay, scenario to discuss. Assume that no more video games are going to be made from now on. Old video games will work now and continue to work forever, but they won't be updated with any new content. Server failures or bugs will get fixed, but you only have the games that exist from today." Yes, I haven't even finished. Let me finish reading the question.
It's bacon.
God damn it. Do you continue to play video games, or do you find a new hobby? And if you continue, how do you game? Do you finally go back to your backlog? Do you concentrate on a multiplayer game and get good? Do you butt other systems? I think it means buy other systems or something else. Great question. So yeah, the gaming apocalypse happens. This also potentially relates to a new story that will have coming up soon. But yeah, I don't know, any kind of thoughts about like how not having new games to look forward to or even come out, or any kind of new content to come out, and just basically being like, here's the history of video games. You have the entirety of it in front of us. What do you do? Like, is there something you like? I'm going to play everything. Are you going to move on? You going to do something else? Like, what do you think?
So the problem with this is, if I was to stop playing video games, I'd probably start developing video games. But if there's no more video games,
yeah, you go to jail.
So that's the issue there. In all honesty, I would probably work on modding my favorite games that are in existence and all that.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Like Halo Forge, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
I would want like a creative outlet. Other than that, I know, go back to the classics. Just pure. If I'm not getting that dopamine hit from getting achievements and that from new games coming out, I would probably go back to nostalgia hits. Play the games I never go around to.
I said, basically replied to him in the chat there, but I'd stick by it. I would revert basically to doing stupid shit in games. And that's like, get to level 100 on Final Fantasy VII Disc 1 and just do like Grand Theft Auto Vice City or something like that, and just like try to break the game, like get out of bounds and all that kind of stuff.
So you become a speedrunner is what you're saying, basically.
Oh yeah, totally. I would 100%. I think that's actually something I should do anyway.
I was going to say, like, what's to stop us from just, making our own achievements in games that we've already completed and then just going outside the bound? Like, I'm writing an achievement list for a game I'm working on the moment. And
I mean, yeah, that's literally just retro achievements, right? Like if Jake was on, he would be all about that. And I think that's a great example of like community-led stuff that's not necessarily led by like the system itself. And again, like speedrunning is another great example of like people building competition and building competitiveness in games that don't necessarily have it, or do have it, but in different ways. Legacy.
On the other hand, we started bands. We started rock band.
That's sure. I'm playing lead guitar if that's the case. No, I'm on vocals. I'll do vocals.
I was going to say why. Yeah, I'm lead guitar. You're vocals.
Not in the news, but. Do we think that it's the end for Ubisoft since they're putting Steam achievements back in some of their old games?
I don't know. I feel like it's the end of someone. So it's like someone who was like, "Well, I'm getting fired, so this is my one thing I'm doing." I was like, Ubisoft's going down, so I'm just like I'm getting my pet project approved for this sprint.
Hey, we have an intern that's not doing anything in the moment. What's some things that we can work towards goodwill?
Yeah, exactly, because we fucking need it. Yeah.
We need some positive news stories at the moment.
Legacy says apparently in this world that we're talking about, if you make the video game, you have to fight the gorilla. So that's how that all ties back together.
I make my dream game, I'll fight a gorilla.
The video game is about...
Actually, you develop my game for me, I'll fight the gorilla. That's fine. I'm willing to take that.
Okay, but the video game will be about fighting a gorilla. So it will be like a meta commentary of like, I'm making a game about fighting a gorilla, and then I have to fight a gorilla in real life afterwards.
I would teach the gorilla how to arm wrestle. And then have arm wrestling.
The problem is, whenever you say gorilla, the first game that jumps into my mind is Ape Out.
I was thinking the same thing.
And it has friggin' unobtainable. So
unfortunately, yeah, it's pity because I did want to play that. But I guess so Kia, you'd kind of go back to the classics and kind of And I like that idea of
Yeah.
like making your own fun more in games a bit more. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking about like what I used to do before achievements, and I was like, I was always a completionist to begin with. You know, like whenever I would play like a Crash Bandicoot or Jack and Daxter, or any kind of PS2 games, like I wanted to get everything out of it. I wanted to see that 100% on the screen, or like 105% in some cases. Like GTA is another great example, and like I don't think that would change how I play games for the most part. I would definitely play like less games, and obviously when there's a limited amount. But there are so many games out there right now that I would never get them all done before I died, you know? And that's even if I only played the good ones. Like even if I was like it has to have a 4-star or higher rating, I would still never be done.
Yeah, I'd probably be never be done with the stuff that I have before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny actually because we're going to talk about the price increases for stuff, and people talking about how like gaming's getting too expensive, and so the reality is like some people are just aren't going to be able to afford the video games and kind of just end up in this scenario just by the cost of gaming. And I saw a top Reddit comment about it was yeah, we no longer have backlogs, we have reserves. That's what we've got. Like this is what we have. This is what we have to work with, and this is it. We're not building a backlog. We're literally storing. We're storing for winter. This is our nuclear bunker for when gaming just gets too expensive to get to be part of anymore. Yeah, I don't know how I mean, I would probably still game if I stopped gaming at all. Like I'd probably just watch more movies and read more manga and that kind of stuff. Like I would get into other nerdy shit that I really enjoy. I just don't have time for anymore. Like because I put so much of my time into video games, and so like I try to catch movies every now and then, but I'm so behind on a million TV shows. Cameron brings up a new TV show every fucking time we talk, and I'm like, fuck, I'd love to watch that, but where the fuck am I going to find the time?
It's weird because like I don't think I watch that much TV because I'll watch everything that I watch with Nikita, right? And then I'll recommend something to you guys, and nobody's ever seen it. The only thing I miss about like working environments is like the cooler talk
Cooler talk for sure.
Yeah,
and I think
except everybody's into reality TV at the moment. I just can't stand it.
That's the thing, right? It's like very much like well, I mean, shit. The water cooler talk is literally us talking on chat while we play a video game. Like that's literally what we're doing is talking about TV shows and things that we're watching, games we're interested in, right? And the show in general is like part of that. But I get what you mean. I think that with the advent of streaming, you don't always get those like water cooler moments where everyone's playing the same thing or watching the same thing at the same time. Outside of your big like when GTA 6 comes out, I'm sure there'll be a lot of chats and a lot of people to talk to about it because it'll just be like everyone talking about it. I think Black Ops 6 had a little bit of that. Like a lot of people were playing that at the same time because it just kind of it captured a bit of a zeitgeist. Even if it wasn't like everybody, but COD is one of those.
I mean,
yeah.
You're looking at Elden Ring was probably the last.
Yes, actually, yes. That's Sorry, Cameron.
I was gonna say I'd miss the conversations too, where the gaming scene leaps into the normal culture kind of thing. Like, like Oblivion and Clair Obscur are probably the biggest games as of last week.
Yeah,
people are gonna know Oblivion from pure nostalgia.
Sure.
But if I mention Clair Obscur to somebody at work, they're going to have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
Kind of thing. And stuff like GTA 6 and that's great because you can have a conversation with pretty much anybody and they just know what it is immediately. And
yeah, it has mass market appeal, as they say, right? Yeah. I mean,
but I love those conversations where you can just talk to a normie about video games and get their perspective on something. And it's refreshing because we're so ingrained in video games.
Yeah, we're so inside baseball, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
like it's good to get the fresh perspective.
For sure, and also get an idea of like what they know about, and what they've heard about, and where they've heard it from is also the interesting part. Like, how do they get out there? It's like, oh, it's on TikTok. I think it's like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 are the only two that I can really think of recently that have really struck out and just kind of hit like a huge audience.
I kind of like, I was telling you guys about the precinct earlier. GTA early days kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, like, maybe I can convert, like, one of my brothers love GTA, right?
Sure.
I might be able to convert one of them and be like, hey, do you remember playing GTA on PS1?
Yeah, sure.
Like the top-down perspective kind of thing.
All right. Well, great question. Alex, thank you so much for sending that in. It's a real interesting topic because we talk about like, I mean, I especially talk about like not buying games for a year and trying to see how I get with my backlog. And Game Pass kind of kicked that in the ass a little bit. And I still play new stuff, and I do pick up the occasional game, but I have on like for years tried to make real big efforts for my backlog. And so is an interesting idea of like what would happen if I just literally stopped playing new stuff and just were like, no, we just got everything I've got, and that's what we got. It's a bit of a scary thought because not everything, as I found, not everything that I own is very good. I've played a lot of trash.
It really makes me think too of like what would happen if Nintendo brought out achievements or something. Like,
Sure,
would
yeah.
we
Yeah, for sure.
jump onto another platform kind of thing, or would we stay an Xbox loyalist?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into the news. Cameron, you found a few things for us. Again, it's a little bit quiet at the moment because we're still kind of, keeping the powder dry and waiting for Key 3 and all that kind of stuff. But
it was quiet until this news
wow.
dropped this morning.
Yes, yeah. There's a bit of Friday news for us, I guess.
All right. So as of May 1st, Microsoft is increasing the prices of Xbox consoles and accessories. Some first-party Xbox games will also cost $80 starting this holiday season. Xbox Game Pass subscriptions will not see a price increase. So yeah, I think it was Bob that posted this originally in the Discord.
Yes, I believe so.
I think so. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, just a whole list of pricing going up. Obviously, this ties back to the US and tariffs.
Sort of, right? It does, but it's not just a US price increase. It's a price increase all over
global,
the place.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think there's any markets that are unaffected. But
I think they're all affected differently, but I'm pretty sure it's every market is going to be impacted. Yeah.
So just going off some US pricing, Xbox Series S 1 terabyte is going from $350 up to $430. Xbox Series X is going up to $600 by $500. Most of these increases for the consoles, I think when I was saying, were around the $80 to $100 mark.
US dollars, which is
US,
a big fucking jump.
Yeah. Wireless controllers, the core and the color ones are increasing, but the special edition and the limited edition ones will be. Special edition ones won't be. The limited edition ones will be, as well as the series ones, which I think there was also rumors about a Series 3.
An Elite, like an Elite 3, yeah, I think is apparently.
Yeah, a few new ones, yeah, including Elite 3.
Wireless pricing, wireless headset pricing also going up by $10. Yeah, what else?
And then
I was going to say, in Australia, the pricing isn't going up as much. For example, like a Series S 1 terabyte is going up $50. Series X is going up $50. Yeah, I think most of the consoles, if I'm reading correctly, are just $50 price increases. Controllers are up $20.
I mean, prices tend to be higher in regions outside the US anyway. Like that traditionally, New Zealand, Australia especially, have paid definitely a lot more for consoles. So it would make sense for those prices to go up a little bit less than where the tariffs are happening. But part of that is because they want to offset what they're losing on the tariffs in other regions. Europe especially is getting kind of fucked by this, which they're always in a rough spot. But yeah, and like games, I don't know.
So I was going to say games going up to $80. I'll be honest, because it's first party, it doesn't concern me because we know that
coming to Game Pass.
When is a first party game left Game Pass?
Basically never.
Right? Yeah. So as long as I have a running Game Pass subscription, I'm safe with that. It's just the price of the hardware that's a bit of a bummer. Like what could be a bit of an impulse purchase of, like that Doom controller looks sick, I'll get one. Now I'm going to second guess it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But
I don't care.
And that's the other thing. Wages aren't increasing. So
well, that's inflation's up 30%, over the years. It's fucking... Yeah, the dollar does not go nearly as far as it used to, and like you said, wages haven't increased basically anywhere. So it's we're in for some fun economic times. I don't care. I mean, you obviously have an eye for retail. What are your kind of thoughts?
Well, so far we haven't really seen them, like as of today, an increase yet. So I mean, we'd be. It's really just like having the core and the color ones at like it says the no increase for the price. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Like they have, I mean, the PlayStation controllers are up to at least like 119 for some of them. So either way, the pricing of the Xbox controllers are a lot cheaper, and the fact that you can use them across so many devices. It's advertised on the boxes now, including the Doom one, like Android. Like they're really pushing that you could get so much more out of a controller as well. So then just like, I mean, you can use the PlayStation ones on the other devices, but I think you actually have to be signed into the PlayStation app to do it.
Oh,
Don't quote
really?
me on that.
Interesting.
But,
that would be the other thing I was going to bring up too. Like when I did
yeah.
you know how we were talking about the LG
Yeah,
conversation last week?
Yeah.
When you log in now, it's like you use Switch controllers, PlayStation controllers, Xbox controllers. You're fine. I'm thinking like, you know, moving forward, controllers aren't that much of an issue, like on different platforms, other than a console itself.
Sure. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, I think that obviously Microsoft are looking to potentially get out of the hardware market anyway, so it seems like a bit of a weird move for them to, I don't know, like, it feels like they've shooting themselves in the head a little early on this, but maybe, I don't know, again, they have people smarter than me crunching the numbers, I'm sure. But, I mean, Series X's aren't selling anyway. So, like if any, it's kind of insane to me that they're even have the gall to put prices up on something that isn't selling.
Maybe it was like their hands been forced. Maybe it was a case of like, well, PlayStation's done it. You know, Nintendo.
Yeah.
I don't think a Nintendo Switch is still worth like, what is it, 750 the bundle, 700
Yeah.
Australian. But I know both Nikita and Percy want it, and I'm probably gonna have to buy it for Christmas.
And the pre-orders are going to be out. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure they got plenty of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the reality of the consoles not selling is that their market is for the controllers, though. So if you're going to sell the controllers,
sure, yeah, I guess the accessory piece kind of goes beyond just the console itself. Yeah, it's a good point.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, you just connect them to a TV now, so you know they're not giving them away with TVs. So,
but I also think it speaks volumes that Game Pass is not increasing in price again. Like they're like, no, that's where we need to be, and also the digital game things is like you can't go, oh, tariffs for digital games. Like that's not how tariffs work. Like that's
how wild is it though that it used to be like, oh, there's a Super Nintendo in every home or whatever. That now it's like, oh, there's an Xbox controller in every home.
Yeah.
And it's not the actual unit itself.
I like the Xbox controller. It's a good one.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm fuck. I mean,
do you guys care much? Like, I feel like the general consensus is the consoles and all that increasing in price is frustrating, right?
Very.
Do you guys care about the games going up in price?
I also care about that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that that there is a big discussion to be had around like video games being too expensive to make, and then market. But then also, if you're going to put the price up for those kinds of games, then you shouldn't be putting microtransactions and other kind of monetization in your games. If you can't have it both ways. But of course, because they feel like they can, they will. And so, like, I've yet to see good justification for either of those things.
I mean, I've always been in the viewpoint of like, I don't mind my games going up in price, but I want to make sure the developer is paid fairly, gets all their rights. Yeah. I don't want somebody to, work hard for 5 years on a game. It does well, and then it's like, all right, there's the door, catch you later.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that, and not to get into too capitalistic, Marxist rants, but yeah, like there is a big issue in the video games industry with people being like overworked, underpaid, and just kind of like not taken care of for products that take a long time. And, you get like big CEOs with huge fucking bonuses who do fuck all. And so you're thinking like, okay, well, yeah, realistically, that extra money, where is that going? And it's like, well, it's definitely not going to go to the people making the game. It never is. Which is why it's like I much prefer to support the indie scene. And like I like big AAA games, don't get me wrong, but I can live without them. I have done. Like the fact they come to Game Pass, the last AAA game I bought was Metaphor. And that was because I was like, that's a must buy for me. But like those are very few and far between.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I guess
Anything else we want to discuss this?
I guess just I'd be interested to see if this impacts sales at all, given how low the sales are, but also like across the board and like terms of like where the video game space is, what pricing does. It is still weird to me that prices have gone up from the 5 years or 6 years that it's been since the consoles came out. Like that never used to be the story. It was always prices would come down. Like this time last generation, you get a console for nearly half price.
I was gonna say it makes sense if there's like refreshes and all that kind of stuff, but
base
what do we
consoles,
have? Just PS5 Pro, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
But like even then, I think that's still unjustifiably expensive for like what increase they have.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, what else do you got for us?
All right, Evil Dead the game is to be delisted from the Xbox Store soon. What's about like 3 years. They basically put out a statement post saying that they confirmed that they've begun the process of removing the game from digital storefronts. It's getting removed by, it's already been removed from PlayStation. But yeah, delisting is likely imminent. What is it?
Yeah.
And then the last part is the game is also available physically, so you know.
Okay, it's not the end of the world, so you can still get it.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I think because it is on sale at the moment on Xbox for its like last.
It is like $14 down from 45.
Yeah, it's real cheap.
It is, yeah, and even in the after whatever booster sale or whatever it is that they're doing at the moment, the new sale that they added like over the last couple of days, which has mostly got DLC. A lot of the Evil Dead DLC went into that too.
Right.
So like the devs didn't really want to have to delist it. You could tell from their tweets or their info.
But it's just licensing, you know.
It's licensing. Man, I wish it was like a 20-hour completion because I do want to play this, but I don't want to invest 100 hours into it.
I don't know. I mean, the game is all multiplayer. You know, it is literally just like Dead by Daylight, basically, with some tweaks to it. Which, like, again, I don't mean to disparage the developers and that kind of stuff, but like, it is an asymmetrical multiplayer game. I can't think of a thing that I want to spend time just grinding for the achievements less on.
I don't know why developers make these games, you know, have such long completions. Like, if this was like 5 to 10 hours, like 20 hours is up the limit, right? I think 20 hours is a decent multiplayer completion.
But I guess
I don't have the patience for 100 hours.
But some people do, right? And you have like Dead by Daylight is probably the most successful example of this, where it's like just they keep making content for it. It just keeps being, people just keep getting invested in it. It's had so many spin-offs. They're doing a movie. They did that. Was it Supermassive? Did that?
But that first line you said, they keep making content for it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Like keep it fresh.
That's the thing, right? Like, if the game has legs, then fair enough. But if it's like something that's, you know, same thing with Friday the 13th, right? It's something that I do want to check out. You know, obviously the IP and all that, tying back to the movies, there's an interest there, but
I think
100 hours.
It's a chicken and egg problem, right? Because if the game's not successful up front, they won't invest into it, and if they don't invest into it, it won't continue to be successful. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is again the same kind of thing, same sort of game, same sort of problem, where you only have so many of these that people are interested in. It was like Dead by Daylight was doing that for that sort of asymmetrical multiplayer genre, and then you had it was like PUBG basically, PUBG and then Fortnite were like the battle royales happening at the same time, and so you're like, okay, cool, that's kind of this interesting thing happening, and then everyone was like, oh, money, let's try and jump in and do our own thing, and it's like, yeah, we have the licenses, but like the licenses are the only reasons we are talking about these games. I'm sure there are so many other clones that have come out of this kind of model that we've never even heard of, just because they don't have anything to look at.
Yeah, I was going to say with Dead by Daylight, sorry, Keir.
It's okay.
Like, they care about the achievement hunting community, though. Like, every time licensing ends, they revert the achievement to something else.
True.
Yeah.
Like, there's that continued support. Sorry, what were you going to say, Keir?
Oh, just that, like, they did hit the horror market with these niche games, though. Like, they've got the Killer Clowns from Outer Space at the moment.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th. Like, these niche game markets, they would have known that they wouldn't have lasted forever, right?
Well, they wanted the
And-
Twitch audience, right? It was like, this is like streamer bait,
exactly.
the game.
Yeah. So I think a game like this should have had a failsafe in it, like Evolve, basically. It started out peer-to-peer. They added servers and then just reverted back to peer-to-peer. Even though the game's broken as shit now, right? You can't even connect to anybody. You can still play the game. So, like, there should have been a way to have these games working, because horror fans will want to go back to these things, right? And there's so many versions of the characters that they've added to them that, like, there's fun in them. And there's generations of fun. So, yeah.
I wish we got. You know what? We need Alien Isolation, right? We need that kind of treatment to these IPs. We need single player experiences.
Yeah, or at least PvE experiences at least, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, two of them. Halloween and Evil Dead both have side scrollers at the moment on Xbox. If you guys haven't seen them,
Oh no, I hadn't actually. Okay,
they're actually part of a collection of what's the name of this? I don't know what the name of the company, but basically it's just like they're making like side scroller experiences with the Evil Dead and the Halloween.
Oh, okay, interesting
Stuff. So if you wanted to finish Evil Dead as a series completion on Xbox, you'd have to do that side scroller and this game. Otherwise, if you're into your series completions, that's it for this. So, get on and do it. But
they have said they want to keep the servers up at least, so you still be able to find games, thankfully, which is the least they can do.
Yes,
right?
exactly right. Yeah, but for how long, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and it's Saber. Saber, are they owned by somebody? They're not owned by like Namco or something.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah. Because I mean, Namco shut
down. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I just looked at Saber. You know what their most recent game was?
Yeah.
The Quiet Place.
Wait,
okay.
They published
the single player one. There's a Quiet Place single player game.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Because I keep on waiting for it to go on sale.
Yeah, me too, actually.
And what will they?
And Space Marine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, and they have what's the next one coming up? The Jurassic Park experience.
Yeah.
Thing? It's coming too.
Right, yeah.
The survival one, right?
They got a lot of IP plays, but I think it's funny you were talking about like Alien Isolation. I think the Alien franchise is probably found the most success recently in the kinds of genres and games they've made for it. Where it's like you had like Fireteam, you had Isolation back in the day, you have what was that with Dark Descent, the one that's on Game Pass at the moment, which apparently is really good. Like Aliens, and then like Alien seems to be doing pretty well right now. That's
Predator back in the day on 360.
I really like that game. It's not great, but it is fun. I think it was a Rebellion joint, actually, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the achievements for the game were kind of a mess because it was quite difficult. You had to get through like levels on the highest difficulty without dying and that kind of stuff. There was a lot of like permadeath things, and also the multiplayer was busted as fuck. But it was really kind of like the idea was very, very cool.
Yeah. I found it was Retro Realms Arcade, and they've made a disc version that includes the Halloween and
that's cool.
Evil Dead stuff. I don't know. Yeah, is it smart delivery? I'm just looking physical and digital. So so that's something that is around as well. But they've got Ash vs the Evil Dead and Halloween as the double feature. 4 DLC packs, that kind of stuff. So,
you need to watch more stuff with Bruce Campbell in it.
Like what?
Burn Notice. Man, I love Burn Notice.
No one has ever watched Burn Notice. I'm convinced that you might be the only person who's ever seen it.
Let alone knows that there's like an American and a UK version of Burn Notice.
Wait, is there?
I'm pretty sure.
Is there?
I can't think of the name of it.
I thought Burn Notice was in the US,
but I don't know. Like they always do. Like Leverage has like, some other name.
What else has Bruce Campbell been in? He was in.
He was in Doctor Strange.
He was in he's in He's in every Sam Raimi movie. Yes, obviously he's in all the Spider-Mans. Again, I've talked about this before, but the saddest thing about Sam Raimi not getting to make Spider-Man 4 was that he had this concept of having Bruce Campbell showing up as different characters in all of the previous Spider-Man movies, being Mysterio, and him just like cosplaying, and him showing up as the villain in the fourth movie, and it flashing back to where he shows up in each other scene, when he's like the announcer and stuff. I would love that idea. It's that close, exactly, yeah. But then they had to go and get fucking Andrew Garfield and all that sort of stuff. To be fair, I do quite like that movie too. But yeah, I think it's kind of a shame that it's getting delisted, and the whole license. I think there's a whole discussion to be had around like licensing and how that kind of impacts game preservation and kind of. Yeah, it's a difficult issue, and I feel like movies got through most of it, and I feel like video games are still trying to catch up, which is why fucking Forza gets delisted every couple of years. They have to make a new one.
Yeah. I think the music industry has a lot to do with the licensing tricks that have kind of popped up over the years. Made a lot of trouble, and rightly so, right? But I mean,
it's the reason why Michael Jackson isn't in the Vice City remasters. Couldn't get the license again, so they just took him out. Which is a shame, because Billie Jean is the first thing you hear when you jump into the car in that game, and it's just top tier. All right.
Well, that's why I go back to the PS2 version when
exactly. They can't take that away from you.
Nope.
All right. What else we got?
All right. Next story. So this is disappointing. Titanfall game reportedly cancelled amid new EA job cuts. So EA has laid off between 300 and 400 employees in a new round of cuts. Around 100 of those are said to be from Respawn Entertainment. An extraction shooter style Titanfall is said to have been cancelled.
Which is so wild, because
basically set in the Titanfall universe.
Sure. Marathon is an extraction shooter.
It is too.
Yeah. We're getting like another like high profile extraction shooter very soon.
Isn't it surprising that Marathon had such middling what's the reception?
Sure. To
it.
Yeah.
That like a week later we see this.
I feel like that's a coincidence, but okay. I feel like that exact scenario was probably a coincidence, like the timing. But I get the feeling like EA's probably had cold feet around this idea for a little bit. They've never liked the Titanfall IP, to be fair. They've been really focused on Apex Legends, and there's talk about them doing like a reboot or a 2.0 for that.
I feel like what was in the stuff that was being pitched.
Yeah.
The reboot for that too.
So Titanfall is an amazing game series that everybody loves, that is repeatedly heavily discounted.
Yes.
The only reason it wasn't well received is because it's going like when 2 came out, it went against.
It was Battlefield and COD.
It was like very close to COD and Battlefield,
it was
right?
Literally a week in the between them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was eating itself. Like,
okay.
In all honesty, this should be like a March release kind of situation, where sure you're not going to get the Christmas sales end of the year and all that, but this is a nice breather kind of game for FPS fans. That
like an April, like this time of year kind of launch for sure, where it's like a summer launch. Yeah.
Because what do we got that's like first person shooter coming out now?
Fuck all.
Nothing.
We got basically nothing coming out in general for a little bit. I mean, outside of like Doom, like it's pretty quiet. Traditionally has been pretty quiet. Things have been stretched out as things get delayed and timelines change.
Yeah. We're going to start seeing a couple of classics come back. But
yeah, as people are afraid of GTA 6 is also like this year is kind of a weird one because everyone's trying to avoid that. Yeah, I mean, look, the idea of a Titanfall extraction shooter does not excite me at all. Like that sounds. I mean, extraction shooters are. I don't like roguelites, and I really like extraction shooters are like another level, where it's like, play this game for like it's like risk a bunch of shit, bring it into a game, get shot by a sniper who's halfway across the map, and you lose all of it, and you got to start again. I had enough. Enough trouble with that in Modern Warfare 3 with the zombies bullshit.
How are you extracting? Like, I mean, it's not Armored Core where you just get airlifted out. Like, someone just.
It probably is. Like the thing is, like I don't actually like. Titanfall universe doesn't necessarily mean they even have Titans in it. Like Apex is in the Titanfall universe, and there are no Titans to be seen. So it probably would just be like a Tarkov with like a smart pistol, maybe.
Yeah. I reckon if they were doing this, they should have went like the survival route as like a single player game. Like you go in, you lose access to your Titan, you have to get in somewhere and get out back to your Titan or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not activated for like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. I think that's similar to what they kind of wanted to do, but again, we don't know a lot of details. But like I think Cameron's point around Marathon kind of not being super. I don't know. Like extraction shooters kind of feel like okay. I want you guys to name 3 successful extraction shooters right now off the top of your head that you know of, that you even heard of.
Delta Force.
Okay. Yep.
Am I listing Xbox Ones, because I can't do that? I can list.
Well, we start with Xbox Ones and branch out.
Well, I'm just like, yeah, like the only thing that like Marathon sounds a lot to me like the Division survival mode.
Yeah, it is similar kind of idea, except the idea is like you can kind of leave whenever you want, as opposed to
Hunt Showdown's the only one.
Yeah, that's Hunt Showdown. It's like Hunt Showdown and Tarkov are like the 2, basically.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
I know there's plenty on Steam, but they're not getting like Witchfire. I believe got received pretty well. That's one that I've always been interested in.
Is that an extraction shooter?
It's listed. Apparently.
Is it really? Okay, like I know it was an FPS. I just didn't realize it was an extraction shooter. Okay.
Yeah.
What's Predator? The Showdown or whatever it is.
Hunt Showdown.
Actually, that's. I mean, yeah, the Predator hunting grounds.
Oh yeah, it came out a little bit ago, didn't it?
I don't know if that's extraction or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would say the other one too is like Arc Raiders is in its play test window. And the reception to that has basically been like it's an extraction that does nothing special. But I saw an IGN, I think it was IGN article today saying like it does nothing special, but I still love it because it's so visually inviting. So
yeah, and I feel like if EA feel like they can't make enough money on it, and it's not a big enough market for them to tap into to compete against things like Tarkov and Hunt and potentially Ark, they want to pull the plug on it, which unfortunately kind of makes sense.
I mean, other than that, the only ones I can think of is like Warzone and Division.
Yeah, which is like again like kind of like different kind of
yeah.
More, they're kind
it's
of
like do you really call them
extraction?
Oh, well, Warzone you can.
It's more Warzone's more like battle royale, right?
I think it has particular modes though.
Sure. Yeah,
but yeah, I'm. The problem is anything like that Respawn has done when it comes to like Apex Legends, Titanfall, and all that. The movement system is that it's pure dopamine to me.
Sure.
Like I've never found another game that plays as well as Titanfall does. Or, I mean, Apex is fun for me. I'm not the biggest fan of battle royales and that, but just because of how fast and that you can move, the speed of it is what's engaging.
Yeah, I mean. That's part of the reason why, like the Jedi, like Fallen Order and Survivor, like feel really good to play. Is that like it has that Respawn DNA all over it for like wall running and like maneuverability for sure.
Like Respawn just nails gameplay for me.
Yeah, they apparently just can't nail putting out another game, putting out a Titanfall game. I guess I don't know. But yeah, it's a real shame, and obviously, like more people losing their jobs at EA is just the games industry is in a rough spot.
I feel like EA has that same kind of mentality to take too as well. Like we just want to focus on the big projects and man, I'd love smaller projects from EA. Well, like do something new with Plants vs Zombies. Like do something new. Like do a side project for The Sims.
I mean, EA Originals are still a brand that exists. You know, like they still do have a few of those things, but they just haven't quite caught enough. You know.
Well, Split Fiction is under that.
Yes, like Split Fiction is probably like Hazelight obviously is the indie darling for that, but for every Hazelight you have a like Immortals, and what was the other one?
It's weird though, right? Because you've got like stuff like Split Fiction, indie darling, all that doing incredibly well for them, but then you've also got the other side of like BioWare and just having
Yeah, well,
I don't want to say failure, but like not hitting their sales targets.
Sure, yeah, and like BioWare seems to be in a bit of a rough spot. But then you have things like Sea of Solitude back in the day that was like the EA Originals label. They have a real mix, but I kind of, unfortunately, I kind of get it, but it is a real shame. Again, I don't think like a Titanfall extraction shooter would definitely not be the kind of thing I'd want to play. I just want a Titanfall 3 at the end of the day, because Titanfall 2's campaign is probably one of the best FPS campaigns ever made.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of, I guess they don't need to really do anything if it's going to make more of it. Like, Titanfall servers being hacked and that kind of stuff in the past.
yeah.
Maybe they just haven't bothered with, like, I don't know. It seems crazy to me that it feels like all the chips are on Battlefield when they have Titanfall as a franchise.
Well, I mean, Titanfall 2 just didn't perform, right? And that's the thing, is that like...
Yeah, but Battlefield didn't either. Like,
well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't...
Sure.
In my mind as a consumer, I'm like, why don't you just invest in both franchises?
Yeah, that's... Well...
That realistically, the sports stuff is the stuff that's bringing them the big cash, so...
Well, Need for Speed's probably the only thing that's really doing anything along those lines for the...
that's the other thing, too. I'm surprised that they haven't made Need for Speed more of like a yearly...
Well, they used to, right?
Like
and then
the remakes the remakes sell well.
True.
From what I've seen.
Yeah, like Hot Pursuit and that sort of stuff, sure.
Like, get an Underground 1 and 2 going.
Oh, that like I feel like that's a no-brainer. I think that would do very well today. But I also don't know if they still have the talent to make good racing games. It just feels like when Criterion when Ghost Games kind of dropped the ball with their like Need for Speed game that was just Need for Speed, and then Criterion kind of took over for a bit, and then they kind of merged them, and it was, I don't know, like, but you're right, they're sitting on a lot of IP that they could potentially use. I'm looking through like the EA original stuff, and they had like Unraveled, which got a sequel, Fee, which was fine, it was okay. Unraveled 2, Way Out, obviously with Haze Light. Sea of Solitude, which was okay. Rocket Arena.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised I haven't done the Forza Horizon. Not maybe the Horizon treatment, but like getting Need for Speed up to like more of a, every 2-year kind of franchise or something. Or
well, it was supposed to be, right? Because you had, what was the one that came from you had
Unbound was 2022.
Yeah, and before that you had what, Payback was like 2 years before that.
And then Payback.
And they were about 2 years apart.
I thought it did okay. But like Unbound was fantastic. Yeah, I really enjoyed Unbound, other than the music, which is just personal preference.
Yeah.
But man, like get like Most Wanted. Wait, no, Most Wanted was the one that was remade, right?
Yeah, they remade it in 2012. Yeah.
Yeah, well, get Underground. Underground too.
Underground would be a way to go for sure. Yeah, but it's
maybe. The Underground series would probably be Need for Speed's most popular series, right?
Probably most recognized. I think technically their best selling one was probably still Hot Pursuit.
Because I'm like, I don't know if it's just my nostalgia.
It definitely is. That's a big part of it.
Like, is it me? Like, is this just something that I love because I grew up with it, or is it a general consensus like of everybody wants the Underground like same way I'd love a Tony Hawk Underground remake as well.
Yeah,
But that's not going to happen with all the licensing.
It might do. We might get there, but probably not for a while.
Yeah, it'd be harder to do than like a 3 and 4 remake, though.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Kia, do you have any affinity for the Need for Speed games from back in the day?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I go all the way back to the second one. Was probably the very second game in the series. Was the first one I played, and even back then you could mod things like Cadillacs and dinosaurs and stuff into to change the cars and all that kind of stuff. So it goes all the way back, and like the first time, because I definitely played the PS2 version of Underground 2. The first time I built a PC, and then the first game I installed was Underground 2, and seeing the raindrops on the camera for the first time was just mind-blowing. And I just fell in love with the game all over again. So it is a really, really good game. But I feel if they do that, I mean, technically is it 2006-7 Most Wanted game is actually part of that series? They would have to do it as like a trilogy, because the car from that is
the BMW
on the end of is actually from, I think, Underground 2.
I'd love to see them to redo
It's
Most
fucking
Wanted
amazing.
in that sort of that style, because again, the Most Wanted they redid was basically just Burnout Paradise 2, which is still good, but not really the same kind of game.
Yeah.
We need more Burnout games.
That I agree with. Yes.
If I wanted a remake of any game ever, it would be Burnout Free Takedown.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like that is like number one on the list.
If nothing else, that our racing month that we did all those months ago, I think was proof positive that we need more Burnouts. Like, because that game is still, Burnout Paradise is still a fantastic fucking game.
I didn't put it here, but there was an announcement of, I think it was Formula Legends. Is like an upcoming arcade style racer.
Oh, okay.
But then it's also the whole description after is like arcade racer, and then it's just like fine tune your motor and all that. I'm just
so
like,
not arcade, so simulator.
So not arcade, so simulator.
Yeah.
Which I don't gel with.
Yeah. Well, of the original games, you had Need for Speed 2, 3, which was Hot Pursuit.
Yeah.
But then we also had High Stakes, which hasn't seen a remake. And then like Porsche Unleashed and Hot Pursuit 2 and stuff like that. So, and then it gets into the Underground game. So, like, there's not a lot of games before Underground and Underground 2.
Yeah, like
So,
that was
and
really. I
this
mean, that
stuff
was their.
really
I remember
starts
those being on
taking
PC. That was when you started having NOS and all that. Yeah, good times. But I just don't know.
Yeah,
if
you got the 1994 Need for Speed. The Need for Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which just looks like it was on 3DO. So,
Yeah. That tells you everything you need to know, really.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, well, hopefully everyone who kind of got laid off with this kind of lands on their feet and kind of,
Definitely.
it's
As it is.
it's still going to be. I think we're going to see more layoffs the rest of this year. I think it's going to be a tough year for video games.
Wait. There's so many. It feels like the last 2 years in particular, there's so many like higher, like AAA kind of games that have just been cancelled before they've been released.
Well, I don't know.
Sound interesting, and I would play.
Sure, but I think a big part of that is this was all happening behind the scenes, and now we're just kind of hearing more about it. It's a bit more public.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is that like they've been announcing things, or things have been leaking more than they used to, because like cancelled projects is nothing new, Like we were just talking about Criterion. I distinctly remember in E3 where Criterion was showing off very early works for a game they hadn't even named yet, where you were like driving ATVs and like doing flips off stuff and like jumping onto helicopters and shit. And they were like, yeah, we got this thing in development, and then they never spoke about it ever again. It just disappeared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people back then, they were excited that they were making stuff. And they
Exactly,
just wanted to show things off, right? So, but now it's all hush-hush behind big companies, and then things are leaking, and it's stuff that doesn't even make the showroom floor. So,
yeah,
some of these things should never be known because they're just concepts or whatever, right? So,
Can't NDA the whole world.
you can try.
True. All right, we want to move on?
Yep. What else we got?
All right. So, quick little bit of news. There's an Xbox community organizing their own Xbox Game Showcase watch party. So there is a guy on Twitter that does. He does like special coins when first party releases come out. The last one was for Avowed. He is organizing a watch party for the showcase for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Ben Kenobi 2020.
I see. Yep.
Yep. Our favorite coin person after the Xbox cast. Yep. Cool. But yeah, they just shared that they got a venue. They're putting it together. They have a special host. Major Nelson actually commented on there saying, "Do you need a host?"
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
right.
cool.
Paris at least said he was going to be there, stuff like that.
That's
so
cool. That's really cool. I'm glad they did that.
yeah, and then I'm pretty sure Stein also commented. Sorry, yeah, Aaron Greenberg Stein, right? Twitter handle.
Maybe.
Anyway, VP of marketing for Xbox.
Yes.
Commented on there saying like, if there's anything we can do to support you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, because they've decided just all digital, no in-person stuff, no kind of live.
Which is a bummer. I really enjoyed the FanFest stuff, but it's good to see the Xbox community coming together like that. I love having it. Always falls on the Queen or the King's birthday holiday now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always nice to know I've got a free public holiday the next day and I can just stay up late or early watching the showcase.
I think our one's like a week later or something for some fucking reason. Which is always a pain. Yeah. All right,
bit of good news.
Yeah,
other than that, I will quickly mention Wu Chang Fallen Feathers is coming to Game Pass in July.
This is another one of those like, oh, hey, I saw this on a trailer at a E3 or a Key 3 event. Is that a game that I know? Have I seen this one before?
Yeah.
Is it? And it's like, nope, it's a brand new one you haven't seen before. It looks suspiciously similar, but...
I thought this was a series, and I was just like, "Where have I think we have seen a trailer for this before."
Yes, we have. Yep, it was at I think Summer Games Fest like 2 years ago. I think.
Yeah. So I was like, "All right, that looks good," but yeah, it's good to know that it's coming to Game Pass in July, and yeah, give it a try for that. Give me Wolong vibes.
Yes, definitely. Well, yeah, like Black Myth Wukong, that kind of
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So yeah, quick news story of that. Other than that, Peggle-inspired roguelike Peglin is hitting Xbox and PlayStation on the 1st of May. Finally.
Looks very cute.
So this is another one of those PC first kind of like, I know everybody's been raving about it kind of games that I'm so glad to finally see get a console port. So to give people an idea, it's basically like a roguelike pachinko kind of style game.
Oh, so a game that relies on RNG has more RNG in it, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Great.
So I know Matt's not going to like it, but I've wanted to.
Has it got survival crafting elements in it as well?
No.
Okay,
well,
that's
got
good.
deck building.
Yeah,
actually.
deck building though. Yeah.
There's a lot of games that I feel like are using the Peggle kind of.
Are there?
E3. EA needs to make another Peggle game.
Do they? I don't know. I feel like they kind of nailed it with Peggle 1, and then there was that guy who did that jump on stage for Peggle 2.
Yeah, and now we need a Peggle 3.
If you say so. I don't know. I think there's only so much enjoyment you can get for throwing a ball at something and then just randomly watching it drop. Like, it's literally just a game show on TV. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. So there's that bit of news. I'm going to play Peggle.
It looks cute. It does look very cute. I'll give you that.
And the other bit of news, which I am personally excited for, is Borderlands 4 have shifted their release date 2 weeks earlier. Well, 11 days or whatever it was. Yeah. Which Randy Pitchford said there is absolutely no reason to think that this was GTA 6's doing.
Well, I wasn't thinking that until he said it. So, I don't know. That's a suspicious denial.
So it was originally meant to be September 23rd, and then the game is coming on September 12th. They did like a showcase at the State of Play the other day. There's a few things that I'm excited about that feel like much of an upgrade on 4. Being able to just take out a vehicle anywhere is one of them. Like just some really good quality of life features, and the new characters look pretty good, so... I don't know if there's anything else we want to touch on Borderlands. But...
I mean, I had a good time playing with you guys. I don't think it'd be the kind of game that I'd play on my own. But I think as a co-op experience, the Borderlands games have always been an absolute riot. So, I'm sure we'll jump on them at some stage, but probably when they're on a deep discount because they always get discounted.
Yeah, I'll be waiting with Borderlands. So,
You know what? Now the Borderlands 3 has hit Game Pass. Actually, you know what? It's the same old marketing campaign. We released the last one on Game Pass, so that people get a trial and they'll buy it at full price, kind of thing.
Yep.
I was thinking though, like, man, we don't get as many co-op games as I want these days. Like, it's good to have Borderlands.
Yeah. It's a good point. I don't know. I think there are a few out there, but I feel like Xbox kind of gets the short end of the stick sometimes with some of these games.
I mean, a lot of them just come to Steam, right?
Yeah, a lot of it is just
like whether they're successful or not, that's when they come to the consoles, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for news. I will quickly just touch on Game Pass updates. So we had Towerborn added in for PC Game Pass and Ultimate. We had Far Cry 4 added in for Standard, Ultimate, and PC Game Pass. I'm pretty sure PS5 finally got their 60 FPS mode
Oh,
for
okay.
Far Cry.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Sure.
Yeah. Anno 1800 got standard Ultimate PC Game Pass as well. Modern Warfare 2 got added in. And then Dredge is coming on the 6th of May.
Yeah. And we don't know
So
what's
once doing
yet.
Dredge is like one of the best indie games I've ever played. Jump on it.
I want to hear people's opinions on Dredge because I don't like it nearly as much. I enjoy it, but Cameron loves this game, so I want to hear people telling him that he's wrong or telling me that I'm wrong. I want to make sure that I'm not crazy or I am crazy. I just need some sort of confirmation.
I like a simple indie game mechanic that is done well.
Me too.
I can say like Iron Rig DLC and all that. That's just taking the piss in terms of length and all that.
Sure.
But I think in terms of what the original game is, perfect.
Yeah, I can understand that. I want to say like I very much enjoyed the game. I had a great time fishing. I just feel like that's kind of all there was. We've also got our Patreon, patreon.com/allthegamers if you want to help support the show. We are doing more content on there. I've been putting up Lights, Camera, and Action episodes. So we had Fallout Episode 8 go up. And I think Minecraft should be live by the time you hear this. So you can go check that out. We kind of do reviews of video game movies. We got another few that we want to do. I think we're going to do Sonic 3 next, I think is the plan. But a huge thank you to Lee Howard, Mahal KV, Natolinator, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Old Mate Clown, Mace J, Left for Legacy, and McNulty. We literally couldn't afford to do the show without you guys, so thank you all so much. And if you do want to help support the show, any amount helps. You know, like we don't gate any of our content or anything like that based on price. So whether you donate $2 or $10 or $100, like whatever you do, you get all the extra content that we do. The outtakes. We're thinking about recording some extra kind of discussion episodes around some topics and stuff, especially around our theme month, which we'll get to in a little bit.
I was going to say for Patreon content too, me and Kia are probably going to break down the Xbox Cast April Achievement Challenge and stuff for that.
We'll go into how well you did with your sticking to your good habits and how well I didn't.
That's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea.
And how you're apparently got bigger steps than me for the day. What's this?
But what day? Which day?
Today. You're like 1,000 ahead of me.
Oh,
I was like,
right.
what the hell is this?
Today? Yeah. So, and I was moving a lot of shit around in the storeroom. So it was like I looked at my watch when I finished work, and it was like I'd done a lot more walking because I was basically up and down the storeroom all day, just moving shit around. So yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than getting exercise you get paid for, right? All right. So I guess we should, speaking of our theme, we'll get into a new theme for the month. We're in May now. So for May and June, we have the bimestral burden, where we have a theme that we come up with every 2 months. And so this one is the blind leading the blind. You got to complete games where you can give orders to either your AI teammates or units or squads or whatever it is. Basically, it's like, hey, if you can point over there and say, stack on that door, breach and clear, shoot that person, move over there, stand on that switch, that kind of stuff. But only if you're not controlling them. If you're controlling your guy, you can tell someone else what to do. That's what counts. Cameron already has his hand up. I'm not going to call on him because he's going to bring up some bullshit. We're going to save that for an extra podcast where we debate this. I also want to see some discussion in the Discord thread about what counts and what doesn't. I want to see pictures. I want to hear everyone's ideas, except for Cameron's. Yes, Cameron.
I have one question.
One question.
What if the NPC gives you a command?
Then they are allowed to post the completion if they finish the game.
Yes,
but if they don't, if they don't finish the game, then it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Damn it! I was thinking like Borderlands 2, shoot me in the face.
Shoot me in the face.
All
yeah,
right,
exactly.
So actually, in that sense, if you added Final Fantasy 12 to the mix and you really macroed the shit out of it, and then NPCs finish the game for you,
yes, actually,
they would be finished.
So you can say normally Final Fantasy wouldn't count, right? Because you're usually a character. And that's kind of an interesting one. But Final Fantasy 12 might be the one that does count. Because you can literally macro the entire game and just kind of let it play itself. Yeah. But yeah, we'd love to hear people's ideas. Obviously, things like RTS, tactics games, your XComs, that kind of stuff are really good examples of this. Where you're controlling units and moving people around and that kind of stuff. But you're not playing as a character.
Yeah, and co-op games don't count.
Not
unless
unless there's an AI companion.
Other people. So,
yeah. Go and play those. I'm sure we've got a few games lined up. I'm playing. Well, actually, we'll get into what we've been playing. Actually, I've not been playing a huge amount more than what I did last week. I am playing. So I did a bunch more Dragon Age Inquisition. Like 5 of my achievements didn't fucking unlock, so I'm not happy about that. But the ones that did, at least I got the like finish the game on Nightmare, a lot of the like grindier, more difficult achievements, and I got through most of the DLCs. I got through 2 of the 3 DLCs, and the 3rd DLC I've got like sitting there. I put a lot of time into this game over the last week or two, as I kind of talked about last week. I'm fucking burnt the fuck out on this series. Man, I'm glad that I don't have Veilguard to jump into right now, because I would just not. It's also really disheartening to not get the achievements and realize you're going to have to do another run. Even if you get to do it on easy, that's still like 50 hours easy in there somewhere. Yeah. So we'll see. It's still sitting there. I'll go back and probably finish up the other DLC that I have, but I'm taking a bit of a break from it.
Is there any reason as to why they haven't unlocked, or are they just buggy? Or
there is definitely some bugs involved. I think some of it has to do with the fact that I've played the 360 version of the game originally, and
oh really?
Yeah, because because EA's has a progress. There's some progress syncing stuff with their like Dragon Age Keep that keeps all of your decisions that you've made. And so I theorized, because when I started the game, for example, one of the achievements I got was for killing 10 dragons when I killed my first one, but I didn't get the achievement for killing 1 dragon. But on the 360, I'd already done those before, so I'm wondering if it's just checking the total and seeing, oh, you have 11 killed now, because Anyway, so what I'm probably going to have to do is try to clean up as much as I can, and then basically just completely pull the plug on any connection with any server and just wipe my entire save file and start from 100% scratch. And hopefully that does the trick.
Yeah. That's a game where you command.
Yes, that's a great example of a game where you command people.
There you go.
Yeah.
So don't play it, because you probably don't want to play that game.
Yeah, I probably don't, actually. But then I got 2 months, so we'll see. I might be interested in getting back to it. I've just been playing a lot of it. So the thing I played instead has been Oblivion. So I chucked on the Oblivion remaster, and I'm like 10 hours into it over the last couple of days. This game is still great. I fucking love it. It's so much fun to go back to this. I don't have the level of nostalgia that a lot of people do when it was a launch title for the 360, because I didn't get the 360 till like 2007. So I was a couple of years out already, and then I didn't pick this game up until 2009. So this game was like already like almost 5 years old by the time I got to it. But I'm still having a really good time with it. It is just as janky as I remember. It's fun little bugs. Already got a duplication glitch, and like I'm reading up on all the guides on like how to do all the like spell crafting stuff, where it's like you make a dagger that has like 100% chameleon on it. So you basically literally become invisible to all enemies in the game, and you just get sneak attack every time you stab someone in the face. Like this game is made like in the way that like Skyrim is like fun to fuck around with. This game is made to be broken. Like it is a sandbox that is so ropey that it just needs to be ripped to shreds, and I'm having a great time with it. Also, the fact that they have the same 5 voice actors for the entire game, and it's just like there's a charm to it for sure.
So
I gotta say,
yes,
truly classified as a remake.
Not remaster. It's a remaster. I'll get into that in a sec. What were we going to say, Cameron?
I was gonna say my favorite meme of the day was just like Oblivion devs put out the game, Cyberpunk devs single tier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like,
I posted the David Tennant crying in the Discord. Yeah, because exactly, it's just they kept all the bugs. So I think that to your point, Keo, it is a big it's a big coat of gloss over the old game, but the old game is still running in the background. So all the systems are the same. Basically, they've changed the leveling a little bit, and they've added like a sprint and a couple other like little bit of quality of life stuff, but the engine is still running the same. The bugs are still the same. Like I said, the duplication glitch works exactly as it did in 2005. Yeah. Like so much of it is running exactly the way it used to. Like so, it is very much like they built it on top of it. They didn't build it completely differently.
Yeah, it's funny. Like it brings up the remake versus remaster. Like some of these things need a different reword. I think rebuild is probably a good way with some of these. Like it's not as punchy, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like the reality of it is, just a little bit more.
I mean,
on the nose.
The idea of like the term remaster comes from like audio, right? Where it's like you would basically take an existing track and just tweak it to be kind of fit today's sensibilities in terms of like technology and like sound design and stuff like that. And like that's pretty much what they've done here, right? Is that they've taken the base game, added a couple of tweaks around like you can sprint now, and the leveling system is more based on like it's kind of like a hybrid of Skyrim and Oblivion's original leveling system. And that's pretty much it. And it's like, and then they've obviously made it look much better, like from a but visual point of view, they basically overlaid Unreal Engine 5 out the ass,
Yeah, yeah.
200 gig game,
where
whatever.
remake is so loosey goosey,
Yeah.
yeah, of a term. It's really just a buzzword.
Yeah.
So,
but the fact that it's still running Gamebryo in the background is crazy to me. But yeah, I've heard many conversations about mud crabs from the random NPCs just meeting up and talking to each other about shit. It's still very, very charming. So I finished the arena quest and I finished the Fighters Guild quest, and so I'm now doing there's like 7, if you include the DLC, there's about 7 different quest lines. So 5 guilds, the DLC, and then the main story. And so I've done 2 guilds. I'm doing the DLC right now, and then I'm going to go back. The Mage Guild quest it's really funny when you compare I think I still like this game more than Skyrim. Thinking back on it, like it's been a long time since I've played either of them, but I think I am one of those dickheads who are like, yeah, like Skyrim was too casualized, I think, in terms of a lot of its mechanics and kind of how that game worked. Whereas I kind of prefer the sort of more numbery kind of jankiness of the Oblivion stuff. But this is all basically just to say I'm having a really good time with it. So, yeah, definitely recommend it. Obviously, it's on Game Pass. And the achievements are also identical to the original release. So it is literally just finish each of the main quest line, the 5 guilds, and the DLC quest line. There's one achievement in the DLC that you have to make a save for because you got to make a decision. But other than that, it's all very, very straightforward. So I probably should have this done in 30 hours or so. It won't be a massive thing. Also, you can play it on novice, so the enemies are basically just brain dead. And there's again, like I said, there's so many fun ways to break the game. There's a bunch of infinite leveling stuff. Yeah, I highly, highly recommend it. But that's pretty much all I've been playing. Those 2 things. Obviously, outside of fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, which I've just been grinding away at because it's just draw Exodia as quickly as possible has been my strategy, and it's been working. 90% of the time works every time. But I need to. I've got Clear Obscura downloaded, which I know I said last week. I really am going to jump into that. I have just been waiting for some more guides, so keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think the TA. It's not a guide, but it's quick mention of misspells and all that for Clear Obscura.
Okay, cool. That's not a bad idea.
There's some important stuff in the prologue. Everything after is, I think, except for one thing, was relatively easy to follow.
Okay, that's good. I may just jump on that, but I know that my wife will want to watch it and stuff because it's got quite an interesting visual kind of story stuff that she'll want to see. Kia, what about you? What have you been working on?
Well, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. So I've been doing some of the stuff that I'll get on, but basically, the last couple of weeks have had there's been some interesting stuff going on with Games Windows Live.
Oh,
which I don't think has popped up in any of the new stuff that you guys have really touched on or anything like that. But there was a situation where the Games Windows Live basically wasn't syncing. If you put in your key on a new computer, the PC ID would basically not allow you to register the game.
Yeah.
As even though you own the game, you've registered that key before. You use it on a different computer, you can't basically register that it's accessible. And there was a back-end thing where there was something to do with a website area that basically had an error, whether or not that was linked or not. But there's a couple of guys that I know that Kiku was actually one of them. If he's still in the chat there, kudos to him for doing a little bit of extra work there that really got another friend of ours talking to somebody at Microsoft about it. That actually was a proper contact.
It got fixed.
A lot of the it got fixed. And then there was also a lot of true skill issues as well. So I'd been doing Kane and Lynch, and we basically had to stop for a whole extra week, basically because nothing was working, and we could never match up any other times anyway. But besides that, now all of that's kind of working again, and now anyone that has a Games Windows Live game that they haven't put on a new computer or registered and want to do, you should probably do it now.
Yeah.
Because if you get it registered on your computer, then you'll have no problems at all. If it went down again, then it's the Windows Phone thing where it's like the more and more something goes down, the less chance it'll probably come back. If it starts breaking, do they keep caring about it, or is there something else going on? Because it was apparently affecting some 360 stuff as too, and I don't know anyone that tested it, but there was a thing with the like there was some theories that maybe that it would affect transferring from one Xbox 360 to another because it's the same kind of linking on the back end. So there's some real problems, like, and because it was linked, the games for Windows is like fundamentally linked to the 360. Like even Shadowrun is backwards compatible, you know, and True Skill, like those games all have True Skill, some of them. So all of that stuff needed to start working again because it's all, you know, current customer satisfaction stuff because they're all still for sale, some of them. Like the 360 stuff at least, disregarding anything that's games for Windows because you can't get any of that unless you go through back-end areas of different websites and find keys on, you know, websites where they're stored. So the list of games that I've installed is Virtual Tennis 4. I already had Kane Lynch installed. Grand Theft Auto 4, believe it or not, bit of trouble for some people with that one because you have to, the social link is dead for Grand Theft Auto 4 to connect to multiplayer and stuff like that, depending on the certain build. So you have to kind of have a specific update of the game to actually access the multiplayer, which I haven't even fixed up yet. Also, stuff like Fallout 3. I actually want to play that now because we went back and did the series. Finale.
Yep.
Warhammer 40K, Dawn of War 2.
Love that game.
Which there's a workaround to get like a reverted version of the game. It was the latest version on Steam, was updated out years ago, and I was playing that game basically at the same time it got updated out. So you know, but they're all legit files and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't break TA's rules or anything either. Kind of go back and get that updated. Quantum of Solace, Battle Stations Pacific, Dirt 3, Dead Rising off the record, Arkham City, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, like the list goes on, right? So you even like the Dark Souls and Mortal Kombat arcade. So I've got a lot of games for Windows stuff to go back to, which makes things really interesting for me because it's funny because my Xbox died. I was started to do PC stuff anyway. Yeah, it kind of like was a really good kick into gear with that too. So, other than that, I started Age of Empires 2. I already started that, had like 1 or 2 achievements, but I kind of loaded up a skirmish just to see, just to kind of kick myself back into gear because I haven't played Age of Empires in so long, like 15 years or something. Like legit sat down and done full matches of any of these games, right? So loading it up to do the.
No, you're not getting me into it, Cameron. I've seen how much DLC. The fact they put so much DLC out for that game, no fucking way am I getting tricked into that one. That's
a lot of it's. I mean, realistically, there's only a few packs that you don't have to buy. Because they're included in the definitive edition.
I know it's a fantastic game. I'm like 100% know that, but
and then a lot of the other packs are actually on sale at the moment, maybe $10. So it is a good time to get some of them. I'm not going to pick them up. I at least want to do like a good chunk of the campaigns before I even went into that other stuff. But I haven't done any campaign stuff yet. So.
And it all fits this month's theme, so that's a good pick.
Exactly. That's why I started doing that. So yeah.
I was gonna say, play the original campaigns if you want the nostalgia, like Joan of Arc and that kind of stuff. But when you get around to it, do I think it's called the Lords of the West DLC, Dukes of the West or something like that. Because Dawn of the Dukes, sorry, that DLC just stretches out what Age of Empires 2 could be. With the new, with new systems, right? Like you've got 500 population cap kind of stuff, and
cool.
That is included in the definitive edition because it's still listed. Yeah, you can't actually get that on its own. So, yeah.
But yeah, that DLC is like one of my favorites, and obviously only came out with the definitive edition.
Yeah,
I think
and
the
I
only, I think that's, sorry, you go.
no, go on. I was just moving
I was
on.
going to say the only downside to Age of Empires 2 is the Return of Rome DLC, which puts
Oh,
Age of Empires 1 into 2. But
yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah. I roped somebody in to do co-op for Dawn of War 2 as well, Games Windows, so which is really good. So, so they're the ones that I'm kind of gonna look at for the month stuff besides Bitcoin and stuff like that. I did the museum DLC and Human Fall Flat.
Oh, yeah, I think we all did
I
that.
had only done like 2 or 3 achievements in the base game for this, and I haven't done any of the updates. So there are so many things in the game that I'd have to go back.
There's a big ratio there, buddy. Don't leave that on the table.
I know. Should have really just jumped on that for April with the achievement challenge, right? But then because it was so high, it was all like 20 ratio or something.
Yeah.
All of the people in the challenge were doing Human Fall Flat update. So you know, it's the same with the Forza Horizon 5 stuff, right? A few of us went in and did that too. So.
I gotta say that museum DLC was actually pretty fun, except for the eye achievement not popping in the first time around.
Yeah, I had a great time. I think I've enjoyed pretty much every pack that they put out. Some more than others, but like, I know it's a pain for us to be like, fuck, they're putting more content out for it. We're gonna go back to it. But like when I'm in and playing it, I still have a good time, you know. And it's like it's low enough. It's just the right level. Like it's not like more. It doesn't usually go on more than an hour at most. And it's like cool. Every few months or so, we go back and we play an hour of this great game that we enjoy and have a laugh. You know?
Yeah.
We see a 6-year-old beating up a.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I'm concerned about Human Fall Flat 2. Like just what's going to happen with the first game. Will it stay in Game Pass? Probably not. You know.
Yeah, probably not.
Like that.
I think I own it just because it's been so cheap.
I should go back. The other game that I was playing that was part of last month's theme was the House of the Dead remake.
Oh wow! Yeah, okay, amazing.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Have any of you guys tried it at all?
No, I haven't actually. I mean, I played a shitload of it back in the arcade days.
I think I booted it up, but that's just...
yeah.
I hear it's quite
really fun. There's some fun stuff. It's actually like. It's kind of difficult, but not really. Just really depends. You can go in and you can change your cursor color, the sensitivity of the cursor and stuff as well. But I was fooling around with different controller methods actually, and I found that like what I started with is because I got a new arcade stick, the PXN brand, same as the steering wheel that I ended up picking up, and ended up grabbing the trying out a few games, and one of the games I was trying out was House of the Dead, and the arcade joystick wasn't really that great for it.
Sure.
So the good thing about the stick is that you can switch. There's a toggle between using the joystick for the D-pad or using it for the actual like left stick function.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I had to switch it, to the left stick function to actually get it to even work. So, so that was a bit slow.
Touch typing?
Sorry?
You want to practice your touch typing?
Look, Typing of the Dead is a fucking fantastic game.
I haven't actually played.
Okay,
that.
So if you don't know what it is essentially it's literally just House of the Dead, but instead of guns, they run around with backpacks with typewriters on, and you have to type things out to shoot the zombies.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which they had a few games like that back in the day.
The Dreamcast one, I think it was, because that was that.
Yeah. It was ported to Dreamcast. In like 2001.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So I did a few fun things to test the controller stuff with this game. Now, there is a turbo button on the arcade stick. So I activated that with the A button, and then that was the first thing, and it's like, okay, cool. I can shoot, but I can't aim very well because of the joystick on the arcade stick. Right. So and then I accidentally touched the mouse because my mouse is connected. When I switch it between my PC and my Xbox, and the arcade stick was plugged in, I realized this has mouse support.
Oh, of course, because it's on PC as well. Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. It works so well compared to anything else you could do with the game. really. Like realistically, just straight off the bat, right? Because like, you can't use if you switch to mouse support, you can't obviously use the turbo button on the arcade stick. But then I worked out because the arcade stick working on all platforms relies on a pass through where you have to have a controller plugged into it for the console you use it for.
Okay.
So the controller that's plugged in works at the same time as the arcade stick.
Okay, right.
So because I was having trouble with the arcade stick joystick, I turboed the A button and then held the controller and used the left thumbstick on the controller, and I was getting double my score and get all of the scientists were staying alive, and I was just hitting all the notes. Like, it was really great, and that was the best experience I had with it. I've only just unlocked the. I mean, I finished it like 3 times that night. That first time I did it.
Yeah, it's not a long game.
Because it's just like 15-20 minutes a run or whatever through 4 levels. And I just unlocked the armory like a night or 2 ago, so now I can go back and get the assault rifle. I've got all of that now: the assault rifle, shotgun, the hitter, which is basically like a stake tool, stuff like that. So I'm yet to try those. Then I assume that I would have the same experience with the turbo button with the assault rifle, but you get the a little bit of aim inaccuracy with the assault rifle because it kind of shakes all over the place. So, but yeah, but I mean, yeah. So actually, you know, pretty simple remake, quote unquote remake, another remaster that's been given the remake name, but it's okay. And I hear the second one's coming as well. So.
Yeah, I might actually give this a go, actually. It could be fun.
Yeah, definitely recommend the mouse support. Sure. You can go for that. So, yeah. Yeah, that's everything, really.
Cameron, what about you?
So we talked about Human Fall Flat. We started Breakpoint last night, but I don't think there's really much that so far to talk about that. We talked about Forza last week, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
All right, so other than that, the only thing that I've really been playing is Age of Empires 4.
Oh, okay, yeah, another Age of Empires, yeah.
Yeah, so in preparation for the event, and because some of the DLC achievements have 10 ratio, so it's good to try and get my ratio up at the end of the April Achievement Challenge.
Yeah.
So I did most of the new DLC except for 5 achievements. There is a new mode called Conqueror Mode where you take a normal mission and you need to meet certain conditions to get it done as quickly as possible, right? At least for the first mission of that DLC. The conditions are bronze is like 30 minutes, silver is like 20-ish minutes, gold is like 16 minutes, Conqueror is 5 minutes.
Wow, okay.
Now, I am a very good Age of Empires player, but I keep on. So what you have to do is you go and proc the enemy army, you get them to move to your base. I, as a smarter, set up 2 castles by just max resource boosting and try and drag them in. Before 5 minutes is up, I still have like 10 units left of their army.
That's crazy.
And I don't have how to improve on the conditions anymore.
Yeah.
I've seen there's a guide on TA that's on in German. Like, he's posted a video. It's all German writing. I'm not sure if he's doing something that I'm slightly off on.
Sure.
But he does it with like a second to spare.
That's insane.
Yeah. The ratio for getting all these 4 missions done is like 25.
Yeah, okay.
So if I do manage to pull these off, this might be, you know, one of my highest ratio achievements, because I'm going to keep cracking it, but yeah, it's very difficult. I spent probably a few hours one night trying to, you know, just maximize this. The problem is I know all the shortcuts on Age of Empires 2. I don't know shortcuts on Age of Empires 4. So I can't like increase my time that much. Other than that, I haven't really been playing that much. Like, I've just been doing steps.
Sure. Yeah, right.
For steps last month, I hit 500,000.
Jeez, that's
So
that's a
yeah.
that's a good fucking
Yeah,
number.
so I'm just working on purely achievement hunting this month again, and probably just doing a mix of indie games and Age of Empires.
And Breakpoint, obviously.
And Breakpoint when people are available.
Yes, exactly.
Breakpoint's going to be a good one. I think Kane Lynch is the thing that's going to be
a
bit wishy-washy trying to get that sorted. It really should have only taken 4 sessions, but we've had connection issues and just like
every issue
not being able to meet up, and
Yeah.
it's a mess. I'm not even going to talk about the people that's trying to block us at the moment. So, and whether or not it's one person with 6 profiles or not. So,
I will also say I played the prologue for Claire Obscure the other day because after the podcast tested the LG, worked flawlessly, like lower frame rate just due to the buffer.
Yeah, of course.
But man, that game is great.
Yeah, I'm probably going to start it this weekend. I don't think I can wait much longer because it's just I've been hearing nothing but great things.
Yeah, cool.
You know the first kind of feeling you get like when booting up Final Fantasy X.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like,
time?
is that just absolutely, 100%.
Although I will say with Expedition 33, I kind of got to the point of thinking at the beginning, I'm like, man, if so much time passed, like, what's Expedition 10 gonna look like? Like, what's the age limit? Are we gonna get down to like 10-year-olds going off on a?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I think that's what you're basically describing is the anime Maiden Abyss, which I would highly recommend, but also not recommend. It's fucking.
I was trying to think of anything like anime that would have been.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I think Maiden Abyss is probably the closest thing where it's like an amazing emotional experience that will leave you worse off, but it's definitely worth watching. All right, so is that everything we've been playing?
Because they're 10-year-olds, or
because they're kids going through some of the most horrific shit you've ever seen in your entire life. I'll explain the plot of the anime in the after show. Is that everything we've been playing?
Yeah.
Great. All right. So we also have the word challenge, which again is really heating up. I think Stubby is only watching this so he can get the clue immediately. If you don't know what the word challenge is, basically every week I give you guys a clue for a game that I've picked, and you go on our Discord, and on that Discord, you basically go into the word challenge channel. You get 1 guess per hour. You got to guess the exact name of the game, and if you get it exactly right, like it's case sensitive and all that kind of shit, a GIF will probably pop up if it fucking works, which again, the bot is very temperamental, and you win. And usually win like $20 New Zealand. If you want it, I'll PayPal it to you, but whatever. It's about the competition. I know it's not about the prize. But the clues I've given away is this game has its own language. It's part of a multi-game series. It has UFOs, and the new clue is 95% of this game is flying. You spend 95% of this game flying.
I really would have loved it if you hear Stubby's guess.
Stubby did also say that he was going to kill me if the clue happened to be the game starts with X, because he's been trying every combination of XCOM ever made, and he hasn't gotten it. So hopefully this helps him out a little bit. I'm very curious to see where people's thoughts go. I'm also going to see a lot of people are going to be very fucking annoyed when they figure out what it is. So best of luck. I've got one more clue for you guys, but I'm almost certain you guys will get it this week.
Next week's clue should be the clue is in the outtakes.
Yeah, you got to pay the Patreon to. You got to fund the podcast to be able to hear it.
Yeah.
All right. We also have our leaderboards. Keo, do you want to read through that?
The leaderboards. I don't think I have them up.
Oh, it's all good.
Let me just give me a second.
I can pull them up. That's all good.
No, I got them.
Okay.
All right. Mephisto for the win is on 3,875. He's third. MC Panda Gamers is second with 9,425, and Thrash Forever with a tiny 17,190.
Yeah, that's like more than I got last month.
Man, get some ratio.
Actually, we all did pretty well last month.
We did pretty well last month, actually. Some good ratios on that.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I should have done? I should have checked Rapture's ratio for last month versus the prior month and see how much of an increase that was.
How many baby games he didn't play? Yeah. Do you want to also read out completions? I know we're going to have a few of them this week, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. So Cavaliers 07 did Crime Scene Cleaner. I actually would be interested to see how.
It's good.
I'm 100%. I want to listen to Case File and I want to play this game.
It's great. I had a great time. I'm actually thinking about starting Power Washing Simulator because of it. I was like, actually, I could do with a therapeutic kind of cleaning game for a bit.
Rapture did Kona 1 and 2. 1 is now out of Game Pass, and 2 is...
2 just left.
Leaving?
2 just left,
yeah. Yep. Which our recommendation is to do both.
Yes, do them in order, because the second one starts exactly at the end of the first game.
Yeah. And Leafclaw did Sebastian Loeb Rally Evo, which, says is a game.
Yes, of all the games, it is one of them.
Of all the games, it is one of them. I'm pretty sure there was probably like a best or something in there, but seemed to have a good time with it. So I'm assuming best.
I don't know. I think he's had a pretty average time with it, to be honest.
Oh no. Well, he said finally over, so
I think he's finally glad it's done. Yes, Cameron.
Yeah.
Have we finished completions?
No, we got one more.
L for D Peels here did the Rewinder. There you go.
Great game.
Completion's done.
I have breaking news.
Yes, breaking news, Cameron.
Oh, let's go.
Breaking news coming in from the wire. 8 games leaving Game Pass.
Okay, yes. What do we got?
So we have Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which I imagine would be the remake.
No, I think it'll be old version. The remake's not in Game Pass, yeah.
Oh, okay, it is the original. Okay, yep. So Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Chancellor Sonar, which I am definitely going to be doing now.
Everyone needs to play that game right fucking now.
Yep.
Okay.
Dune Spice Wars.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe doing that one too.
Yep. Haunty, which you did.
Yes, Haunty I did. Right? Haunty I really enjoyed. Actually, hopefully more people play that.
I need to do that as well then. Yeah.
Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Yeah, I'm fine. That's okay. I'm not management.
Was that? I think it's been on deep
He's been on a lot of discounts. Well, the original was at least.
Little Kitty Big City, which I highly recommend. I think that was a great game. Planet Lana and The Big Con.
Ooh, The Big Con is the only one that I haven't played there that I'm like, I should probably jump on that. Great. Well, that's very good to know. It's great timing because we are just about to wrap up, so that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I'm probably going to jump on Chancellor Sonar, Haunty, Planet Lana. I own The Big Con, so that'll be fun. I'll see if I can get around to Dune Spice Wars. I don't think
you might have an achievement.
Dune Spice Wars, I think is.
20 to 25 hours, but it is also a 5.4 ratio.
Yeah, it's a high ratio, so I need to do a bit of research on it. I think Aftos was the only person who might have finished it, I think, on my friends list.
And it's like a $60 game, so it's like...
Yeah, probably not a bad idea to...
Yeah.
I think it's fits for the theme as well, I think.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, with that surprise announcement, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the show. As always, we want to join on our Discord. Come say hi, hang out in the chat. That is it's our social hub where we talk about everything that we're doing. So yes, we see the word challenge and the theme month and all of our competition stuff and all of our chats and memes and stuff. So we'd love to have more people on the Discord if you're a listener and you aren't part of the conversation. Yes, Cameron?
Mm-hmm. I just saw that Stubby guest Need for Speed Underground as the flying game.
The flying game? Yeah, because you're flying, brah. You're flying.
Listening to the clue immediately ignores the clue.
Yeah, it just completely ignores the clue and just goes, yeah, Need for Speed Underground 2, that's the one. Does that have its own language? Sometimes I wonder where some of these guesses come from. Otherwise, definitely join our Discord. That's the place to be. And obviously, this podcast is on Twitch, Xbox Hall of Gamers. We do the show live every week. But we also do it on your audio platform. So if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, we do also have the VODs on YouTube if you want to catch them there and see our wonderful faces. I know I'm wearing a bandage this week. Go to the outtakes to figure out why. Anything you guys want to shell? Cameron, you got anything going on? Nope. Okay, too slow. Kia, what about you?
Do more steps. There we go.
Do more steps. Yeah, you're promoting walking as a healthy lifestyle.
Yep. So I'll just do all the usuals. So you can go to @HowToFixGaming on YouTube just to catch any of my stuff. If you want to see me anywhere else, Twitch is Kia Live at Home, Instagram Kia Live at Home, everywhere Kia Live at Home. So
great. And as always,
we'll see Kia Live at the beach.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kia Live at the airport.
I should really do some more that's where all my Instagram stuff should it's always the tech stuff.
Yeah.
The little weird little things that I set up around the house. But I was thinking, you know what? I should probably do some outside stuff. So
Keo live outside.
workouts at home.
Keo live in the garden.
As a Keo touching grass. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And as always, I'm Neomaster and everything True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. I don't do any streaming. This is the only place you'll see me. That's been episode 167. A huge thank you to my co-hosts, to our wonderful audience, and our patrons. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
So.
Bye, everyone.